Okay, good morning. In the chat box, in your opinion, when compared with Zenith Bank, do you think GTB is overvalued at 32 naira? Um, should I answer?
Yeah, go ahead, Lawretta. We'll all try and answer. So you go ahead. Start first. Ladies first.
So I just quickly compared both their price to book ratios. And we're not on radio anymore, so I can say yes. GT Bank is slightly overvalued. Their price to book ratio is 1 point something, while Zenith Bank is 0 point something. So if I'm comparing both of them, then yes, GT Bank is slightly overvalued. Simple.
Olumide, your take on it?
Yeah, I think Zenith Bank has more upsides than GT in terms of if you look at just metrics and Lawretta said. But if you look at recent price patterns, the trading activity in Zenith Bank has in recent days been higher than GT, and that's because a lot of people see the stock as much more cheaper in terms of the price it is. And a lot of leading experts, like the one I spoke with at AfriVest, was telling me that a lot of guys are looking at banking stocks that once Zenith breaks above 28 now, then they believe that the banks are already going boom. So I think Zenith Bank is a banking stock to really keen to if you want to. Though it still shows that it might drop based on if there are any results fail to impress in the coming months.
All right, so let me chip in on this. So I mean, you're both correct, but Lawretta, there's something you got to look at, and for those listening, there's a reason why GT Bank always has or typically has a higher valuation than Zenith Bank, even though Zenith Bank is bigger in terms of market cap, and Zenith Bank probably even post higher profits. But GT Bank, in terms of return on equity, has the best return on equity in the market, and it's been like that for years. So I'll give you an example. Last year in 2019, not 2020, 2019 financial statements, GTB return on equity had a return on equity of 31%, compared to Zenith Bank's 24%, right? This year already, year to date, I think that return on equity for GT Bank, it's not one of GT Bank could even top 40% this year. So that's really the main difference, and that's why it kind of appears that GT Bank is always more expensive than Zenith. And like I said, investors reward things like that. So when you have higher return on equity, investors tend to give you higher valuation because it means that you're sweating your own assets better than the others. So that's the difference. But in terms of whether they're both good investments, absolutely yes. In terms of which of those investment has upsides, I want to go to Olumide and Lawretta on this one. Zenith Bank probably has more upsides, but never ever doubt GTB. Like, there are GTB fans out there, so and foreign investors like the stock. So it's difficult to just say it can be either of the two, right? So, but what I've just said now is why you have both stocks, why you have GT Bank valued more than Zenith Bank. And if you look at Standard Chartered as well, also has higher valuation. Of course, Standard Chartered is also due to limited equity, that's number of shares outstanding. But Standard Chartered also posts very good return on equity. So that's why you see their share price typically very high. Yep. Any other question, Lawretta?
Yes.
Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered is not listed. Yeah.
Sorry, Stanbic is what I meant. Stanbic, yeah. Sorry.
Okay, good morning. Still on this Zenith Bank thing. Good morning, money team. At what price can we buy Zenith shares before the registrar closes the 2020 window for paying dividends to shareholders?
Follow my stock letter. Follow stock SSN, stock select newsletter. Follow it. I think it's like 5K a month. We usually give recommendations on a monthly basis, and if you followed that newsletter last year when we launched it, and you bought Zen Bank when we recommended it, you probably would have been over 100% in return up right now because those who bought at that time have 100% gains. So is Zenith Bank going to be in, our portfolio again this year? I don't know. You have to subscribe. I'm not going to tell you here.
Okay, somebody said, just follow up with the Zenith Bank question, but the risk on Zenith is the ownership structure.
Okay, Olumide, go ahead.
Okay. I think what the person is trying to say is that the institutional stakeholders have higher percentage than in GT. But I don't think that to be an issue, because if you look at other leading banks, like if you look at the biggest bank in Spain, Santander, it's run by a family for over a generation. I think what the listener or the writer needs to understand is that the corporate governance in Nigerian banking industry is strong, and that's been enforced by the central banks and systematic upgrades on how banking industries are run. And if you look at the era of Soludo to the era of Sanusi to the present era, you see that there's 30 amount of years a CEO can run the affair, the aims of the bank, and also there are also limits to what a strong institutional can do. But yes, I think one of the things people really like GT, just like what Udre has said, is apart from returns of equity, it commands a strong brand across the banking industry in West Africa. If you go to Ghana, for example, it's one of the leading banks. When I was in Ghana, I saw a lot of Africans patronizing GT just because of the level of corporate governance in their team. And if you see that in the management level too. But that doesn't mean you should run Zenith Bank. I don't think there's risk in Zenith ownership structure. The bank is properly structured.
All right, we've got 5 more minutes and we're out. Lawretta, go ahead. Any other question?
Yeah, morning, Ugudre. On your economic outlook, your item 7, okay, on using WhatsApp to increase sales. I'm not sure it's a workout now, as a number of people will move to Telegram and Signal due to the new policy. What do you think? Yeah, I don't think
I agree. I mean, what I was saying was, it's all I know is that social media is going to basically drive a lot of SME sales, whether it's WhatsApp or Signal or Telegram or Instagram or Facebook. People are going to want to use those things. The recent WhatsApp policy, I think you guys underestimate Facebook a lot. Before Facebook comes out and make announcements like this, they already envisage this kind of reactions. People will always react, and they just be a lot of all these knee-jerk reactions. But so long as we are all interconnected with WhatsApp and we all have WhatsApp accounts, it's going to be difficult to beat that monster. You just can't, dump it. So do it at your own peril. If you do business and your customers are in WhatsApp and you're saying you want to go and do Telegram because you think your order. So just, you want to maintain all those social networks. It doesn't hurt you to be on WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal. They are all marketplaces. So you got to see it that way. It's the same way you put your product in Onitsha, in Aba, in Kano, in Port Harcourt, in Lagos. Same thing, right? So that's how you got to see all these applications. They are all marketplaces. So all conduits for you to move your goods and services. So if they bring out more TikTok, put your goods there and put it on TikTok. If that's where your market is, you never know. Just have all those applications and use it to move your goods. It's not a competition as far as you're concerned. They're just looking for the best place to move your products. Right.
Yeah, just to chip in to what Udre said. I want just like he said, when you are any app you use, you need to just understand that you are the products. Anything that is free on the internet, you know that there's something that comes at a cost. So the issue about privacy is just how much privacy is being tapped into. I think all the apps go through your data. It's just the amount they are exposed to. So I don't necessarily think jumping from one app to another will solve the problem. It's just how much you want to put out there. So as long as you put so many things out on the internet, they expect that you'll be exposed.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, that's it. That's it.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again this time next week. This is what you enjoy for being on the show. You get an extended version and where you can ask, questions, and we'll take them right here live. So that is me signing off, guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Any closing
All right.
remarks?
Yeah. Have a safe week.
Stay safe.
I wear a mask. Yeah.